Last time we saw Janine, she was here with her galah, but this time she brought her blue and gold. And then I realized that she brought 2 blue and golds and her husband was actually referring to the female blue and gold every time he pointed and just said, when she was here, we had this problem.
Wow.
She is every night. She tries to jump down on her. She sits there with her claw like, come on. No, she was with an old couple. She stayed in the bedroom. She didn't have a lot of out time at all.
What we quickly realized throughout this session was that when we interacted with just Dexter, but the female blue and gold was in the room too, it was too far of a step to be able to have success with Dexter. And so we needed to reset everything and take it in smaller approximations. Even though the end goal is to have the 2 out together and be able to interact with them, we can't really start there. We want to start with what's working. So we removed the female macaw from the equation while we worked with just Dexter. You could see in some of the training that she was really afraid of the handling with Dexter. With what started was a oven mitt, 2 layers of towel, and a wooden dowel that had been absolutely destroyed by her macaw, turned into getting a step up onto her bare arm, which was a huge victory. And although I don't really think she's going to trust this bird, I think that she at least understands the steps are going to be in smaller approximations. So rather than trying to get a barehanded step up with Dexter while there's a female blue and gold just 6 feet away, she knows that she can take smaller steps and slowly work up to being able to possibly train these birds in the same room.
He has been down on the towel, that's why I wrap it around so much.
What are you thinking? You want it without the towel?
Can I see it with the towel one more time? And I'm going to look for something close on this. I'll click for you. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Cool. This time I want you to undo 1 layer of the towel. Yep. It's the same thing.
You're pushing it there.
Okay, hang on. We got stuff's moving. Okay, so I'm going to pause you a sec because we just changed the environment. Go ahead and do exactly what you just did with the full layer. And we'll just repeat that once here. Nice. Okay, this time remove 1 layer. So we're going to do that another time.
You're not going to have me do there.
Okay, so do it regular one more time with the towel, just a single layer, and your regular treat.
I'm going to be shaking. As much as fun.
And then show them the treat down there. Yep. Cool. And then grab a Cheeto, and we're going to do the same thing. And just read his body language, it's nothing different. Do you want to step up? And Cheeto, yeah. See, you're fully capable. That was awesome. The difference is...
Are you breathing?
I had to breathe there for a minute. Just
nothing
getting up to him.
Nothing in his body language changed, right? What it is you're really damaged from past history. So what I did is I established behavioral momentum with the bird. What I was also doing is establishing behavioral momentum with you. And what you just experienced, and why I was able to get you to do that after you were like, no, is the exact reason he did it. We just got the momentum. We created a rhythm. We created a predictable pattern. We upped the treat value and had a successful session. But ultimately, she's making progress, and that's what counts. Something that a lot of guys tend to do is really assert dominance when they're working with their bird. Parrots don't respond to that very well. They might immediately, where they kind of say, okay, I have no other choice, I'll step up. But it equates to what I refer to as birdie bullying, where if you've ever been bullied, whoop, eventually you get big enough, strong enough, tall enough to take care of it in a less than polite way. And that's what will happen with the macaw over time, is as Roger is getting very assertive and demanding and commanding of a step up, and he comes from a very high level canine training for police and law enforcement, possibly military, I'm not totally sure on that, but a very high level of training where the training history for him has been very dominant. And so he tried applying that with Dexter, and it just doesn't go well. So it was really interesting when I asked him the question. I said, well, what would you do if that was one of your dogs? Well, his tune quickly changed, and it made him realize that he might have been pushing the bird a little bit too hard. This is where it's important to go ahead and use permission-based training. So I stepped in and I said, all right, Dexter, do you want to step up? And Dexter's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, will you do it for a treat? No. I said, okay, what about for this treat? And he was like, okay, I'll do it for that treat.
I'm like, I don't think he's serious. So I'm like, go up, and he'll bam, 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 but he leaves no marks. They're not like, and the prior owner who had him for 9 years said, oh, he just plays this game. He's not going to seriously hurt you. Like when I first went there, I'm like, really? He says, yeah, just go in. And I went in, and he's like, okay, I'll do it. But I got to tell you, about 6 months ago, the prior owner showed up. We took him out to dinner and everything. And he's like, oh, hi, Dexter, how's it going? Dexter went over, and I said, be careful, John. He went over, Dexter, wham, nailed him on the arm. And John was bleeding like a pig. She's like, yeah, go out. And honestly, I don't have a treat. I'm like, I want you to step on my arm like I'm telling you to do. And sometimes it'll take 30, 35 minutes. She'll go out there with the stick and a treat, and she can get him.
Yeah.
With me, it just takes longer, but I just don't give him a treat. I'm like, you come up and...
So I have two questions for you. What would you do if that was a dog and the dog was aggressive? Would you take the bite?
No.
What would you do differently?
Picture a dog not on a perch, but if he went there, just wants to bite, then I'm just going to move away and I'm going to come back when he's done. And then I'm going to come in there, but I'm not going to have any stimulus to go with it. He's not... Actually, I might, if he does it right, then I might have a juke toy ready, and if he's going to come with me, then I'll give him a
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Do that. The big difference that I can see from my side of the world is that birds will do things if you give them the choice to say yes or no, and you have, so like, I'll show you. Where a dog, my understanding is it's often a command. I need you to do this. And I kind of hear that in what you're saying and how you interact. So if I go in like, I need you to do this, he's going to nail me. So if I'm like, hey, do you want to step up? What does that body language say to you?
Not really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all clear language of him saying, I don't want to do it.
Okay.
And so if you want to have a good relationship with this bird or anybody, it's built on trust and clear communication. And so unlike a dog, it's not a command, it's a request. And if you want to step up and he doesn't want to do it, okay, why not? Oh, do I need a different treat? So now, let me just try this for effect.
Oh, look, he did like, oh my goodness. Oh, look, his claw's up already. He just saw the bag.
So,
is it worth that much?
Right, he's really thinking. And I've noticed, okay, you don't use your hand, you're using your arm, which I hate doing, but I'm going to offer that. And there we go. Right? So it's not step up. It's, oh, you don't want to? Will you do it for this? I'll do something else for that crappy little treat. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, what about the big jackpot reward? It's like, yeah, I'll do that. Right? That's a communication you need to have with them.
But even so, when it came to the dog analogy, you offered the dog a toy. You offered the dog reinforcement, but you don't want to give him reinforcement.
Yeah.
Why?
I guess I'm not thinking in his world because I'm like, no, you want to go in. How bad do you want to go in? I shouldn't have to give you your reward would be going in and get to be by her because that's where you want to be. I can get that. So that's what I'm kind of queuing off. I'm thinking that's his reward, but that's not the way he's looking at it. Exactly. He's looking at it like you were just describing. You're going to have to give him a little reward to get him to do what he wants because he's not complex to think that, no, that's a reward in there? No, I need an intermediate reward.
And when you're using positive punishment, they really struggle to understand that. So I think there's an element of confusion when you try to chain too many different events together. Like, I'm going to pick you up, and a minute and a half later, you'll be in your cage eating dinner. He doesn't understand that.
It's too far.
But step up for a treat, got it. I can do that.
I get it.
Stay on you, maybe have a treat while you're walking. Cool, roger that. So I think that's a really common problem that people have. And that's why we always say it's permission-based training. Do you want to fill in the blank? So treats are $100 bills. You don't get them just for being cute. Well, unless you're in a different profession. But you got to work for it if you're like the rest of the world, right? So you can make progress if you have the right value treat, your diet and sleep has been set up properly, and then you're set up for success just by being in the right training environment. And something they mentioned, I believe off camera, is that the training stand that they had was really tall, which they equated to the bird asserting dominance over them. And although that may not be scientifically accurate, the results were that way, where the birds just refused to work with them when they were too high. So we set them up for success with RT stands at the right height in the right circumstances with the right high value treat. And when doing permission-based training, we were able to make leaps and bounds in progress to be able to actually get this bird to step up willingly for the right treat.